Barakatay Hawa, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is This Opens the Way. And pretty much what I'm speaking about is this case that they just overturned there. Roe v. Wade being overturned. One thing it's going to do is going to set divisions among the Babylonian public, the Babylon the Great public. And it's going to cause a lot of friction, and it's already causing chaos and divisions. We already know what the scriptures say about divisions. We were speaking about this, on a couple of texted brothers that sent me with this information about the Roe v. Wade, which is, I believe, is really Roe versus Wade. The V is versus. Believe it's Roe versus Wade. A lot of people are saying Roe v. Wade. I believe it's Roe versus Wade, but that's neither here nor there. And this is going to cause a lot of friction because, see, what this is all about, it's not about women's right to choose about abortion or not. It's not. They don't give a damn about women's right. This is the international bankers, using or removing a very key law or court case that allows people to use this court case, as they say, my body, my choice. And pretty much what that does is that removes anyone's right to be able to use this particular court case and the saying, my body, my choice. And the reason why they're doing it is because of the I to the O to the B. And that's pretty much what they're doing. The internet of the B to the O D Y. And that's pretty much what it's all about. Because when you look at the different things that have been going on lately, these meetings, the WEF meetings, the World Economic Forum, that's pretty much what they're discussing. You listen to your cotton swabs or Carl Schwab, you listen to your Hararis, and this is pretty much the agenda that they're pushing, which they've always wanted to push. And one thing they don't want is pushback from the people. They want an obedient, non-gainsaying, non-uprising, non-insurgent people. But at this time, what they're doing is they're rousing the people up, because they know that this will get people's juices going, their motors racing, and it's gonna cause a lot of havoc and a lot of chaos. And that's what they want, because at the end of the day, they want chaos so that they can bring in order. Hence their term ordo ab chaos, which is order out of chaos. And that's pretty much what they want. This is how they function. This is how they operate. Pressure from above, pressure from below. That whole Hegelian dialectics move that they use upon the people. Right? And this is going to bring in restlessness. It's going to bring in, problems. It's going to bring in divisions. It's going to bring in, insurgency. If I'm using the word correctly, it's going to bring in insurrections. It's going to bring in uprisings against the government and their cabinet, so to speak, their leaders. And when we read here in 2 Ezra 15 and 14, it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Why? Because there is a worldwide agenda being pushed by the international banking families that own these large corporations that pretty much have bought and paid, pretty much the governments of the world. And they're behind the scenes working and manipulating everything in that direction. So this is just the latest in, a milestone pretty much in Esau's agenda, because they want to remove anything that would allow people to use any type of law that's there to say that, well, no, it's my body, my choice, And when you look at different situations, you have constitutional issues, you have different state issues, and it doesn't matter what it is, because when you look at the law itself, lex, which means law. When you look at that law system, it's a complex system. There's a lot of twists and turns. That's why you have something called an attorney, because what they do is they turn. Their job is to, whatever the defense says, the plaintiff says, okay, well, we're going to use so-and-so and such, this and that and the other. And the person that exhausts, their chess moves, so to speak, that's the person that loses. And the other person that continues on and is able to turn around anything that is thrown at them by the opposition, those are the ones that win. All right? And that's what they're doing. So this is a worldwide event, a worldwide agenda that they're pushing on the world. So this whole Roe versus Wade is pretty much nothing more than, the next step in removing things that will allow the so-called American public or the Babylonian public to invoke this particular law, or stare decisis, or stare decisis, which is when court cases are judged, and they're fully finished. Those different cases are used, because the word stare decisis or stare decisis means to stand upon that which has been decided. And that's pretty much what they're doing. They're removing any foothold in anything or any obstacle that's in the way of the New World Order, pretty much. It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, because they're pushing for race wars, they're pushing for class wars, they're pushing for divisions amongst people, the unV'd versus the V, the Republicans versus the Democrats, the alphabet versus the straight, so on and so forth, men versus women. And they're pushing that whole thing because they want nothing but chaos and confusion in the world, so that they can use that to justify bringing in the solution, which the solution only helps the so-called banking elite. It's and anyone that's out there that calls himself a truther, right, and says that what's going on in the world is not an international banking thing, these large corporations are not behind this thing, they're insiders themselves, even though they may call themselves a truther or somebody that's bringing out the truth. You got to watch an individual like that, because an individual like that is in the pocket of the bankers, because you have something called controlled opposition. So it goes on to say, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. Right. And why is it going to be sedition among men? Because there's going to be an uprising, because there's a certain line that you don't cross. But once somebody goes against your beliefs or go against your rights, or goes against, they have people pinned against each other, and the average American is just that, average. They don't know what the hell is going on. They're going to assert their beliefs on people, and they're going to clash from these beliefs. So pretty much what it is nothing more than a scene from Kingsman. The final scene in the movie Kingsman, where you had Samuel Jackson in there, and you had those people fighting in the church against each other once they activated that juice. So that's pretty much what's going on right now. It's an activation, of infightings of these people, so that they can cause as much commotion and chaos as possible to bring in the so-called New World Order. And that would be the solution. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. And that's pretty much what they're doing. They're pushing that because they want uproars, they want chaos, they want commotion, they want disturbance, they want mayhem, they want havoc, so that they can justify bringing in that solution. And the solution is only going to benefit the international banking families. I was thinking about this the other day about the Georgia Guidestones, right? And some people say that, oh, that's fake news and that's not really real. That's just something somebody put up and blah, 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 whoop-de-whoop, the sun, moon, the stars, right? And I was thinking about this. I said, okay, let's say somebody demented put that up there. It was 8-sided, 8 different languages, a set of 10, rules or 10 so-called satanic or 10 satanic commandments that were put up in Georgia, which we actually went there and filmed at that spot. And they said it was R.C. Christian, which was a pseudonym for whoever so-called wrote that. It's just a name that somebody said that, they don't know who the hell the guy is. But here it is, all these years. I'm not sure what year it was put up, but all these years that thing's been up. And they never went there to tear it down and say, you know what, this is bullshit. Somebody put this up. We don't know who did it. Let's tear it down. How come they haven't tore it down? Because they don't want it to be torn down, because that is part of their agenda. It's called Sustainable Development, Agenda 2020, Agenda 2030. You call it, you name it. Culling the masses or the cattle or whatever the case may be. So that's what they're doing, and they're causing the people to pretty much do it for them so that they can create that chaos to bring in the solution. Then we got 2 Ezra 9:1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And that's why brothers are watching, seeing what's going on, reporting on the news. And I want to say, the water to you brothers out there that, keep me in the loop, about certain information and videos and, different information that y'all send me, to water for that, I really appreciate it, and whatever I find, I send out, to brothers, if I find something that I think is really important, I try to send it to the apostles and bishops, something that I think would be, beneficial, for lessons, and to keep an eye on what's going on, So it says, so we supposed to measure the time diligently. What does that mean? That means the times that we're in right now, we're reading the scriptures and we're comparing what's going on in the world to determine when the end is going to be. Now, we don't know the day or the hour, but we know the time frame or the roundabout way that we know that we're there at the very end because of the things that are speaking in the world. It says, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And that's how he's visiting the world by reviving the words, the prophecies that he spoke of thousands of years ago. And we're seeing it taking place right now, happening right before our eyes. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people. Are there not many earthquakes all over the place? Yes, there is. Yes, there are. Mudslides, tsunamis, cyclones, you name it. These different so-called Mother Nature catastrophes, which that's an oxymoron, which is really the Most High doing it, and all of these other things that you see happening around the world. These are the things that the Lord spoke about that would be happening in these times. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, not just in one place, in the world. Remember, this is a worldwide event. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Because the prophets, when have the prophets been here? Since what time? Since what time frame have the prophets been here? Since the beginning. That voice that cool in the day that Adam and Eve heard, That was the prophets back then, speaking for the Most High, because the Most High set up his prophets to be his spokesman. All throughout the ages, that's what the prophets have been doing. So it says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end. And the scriptures say that better is the ending of a thing than the beginning. And the end is manifest. So how is the end? What does it mean to be manifest? It means to show forth. Let's look up this word manifest real quick. To show your hand. Pretty much is to show your hand. Manifest. Yeah, a lot of times, manifest. Clear or obvious to the eye or mind. Right. So to be made plain. And before we read anymore, precept came to mind. Let's read that real quick. Isaiah 25:7. It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. So who is the he? The Most High. Destroy, meaning he's going to pull back the veil in this mountain. What? America, because no other place in the world was this truth being taught as it's being taught right now around the world concerning the Hebrew Israelites. Nowhere. It happened here on this mountain, America, this government, right in Harlem, New York. That's where the truth came from. That's where it stemmed from. The spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai moved holy men like Elder Abba Bivens, King Masha, High Priest Ariah, High Priest Yaikwab, to bring out this word. And they in turn gathered others that entered into their works. So the Lord said that in this mountain, where the truth came out of, the Lord was going to destroy the face of the covering cast over all people, because the whole world was blind at one time. Only the so-called elite knew what was going on. So the Lord is destroying that veil. He's pulling back the veil and showing what's going on. So he's manifesting these things. So for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and ending in effects and signs. And we're seeing the effects and the signs happening in these times. Because the Lord said that knowledge will increase. And the reason why the knowledge had to increase was because the Lord had to give them the technology, and the infrastructure to push forward this agenda of theirs. Because at the end of the day, it's a big system that they plan on blocking anyone out that doesn't comply to the orders that they push out there. And that's why you have the overturning of Roe versus Wade, because this was a hindrance. This was an obstacle. No more my body, my choice. Here in Babylon. Because they removed that out of the way. And that can be used for the purpose of intrusion into somebody's body. The I to the O to the B. Internet of the B to the ODY. And that's what's happening. And that's what we see going on. And that's why this whole situation is happening. I believe in the spirit that that's why it's happening. So it's a milestone. It's something that they pushed. They got it out there. They got it out the way. And these women are they got their panties in a bunch. I had this one butch bitch, just now a little while ago. She cut me off. I was trying to, get to my car, and she just cold, like, you're supposed to yield if somebody's walking. She just cold cut me off. And I was waiting for her to get out the car, because I wanted to tell her. I said, yo, feminism just got their legs taken right from under them. I know you've been watching the news. That Roe versus Wade being overturned. What do you think about that? Feminism is dead. But another part of me said, nah, I ain't going to say that, because you know why? That's what I wanted to say. But I know that ain't gonna do nothing but stir up strife. And that's, all right, yeah, I so-called get that shit off my chest. But now, what's gonna come out of that? Probably some bullshit. So I just leave it to the Lord. So fuck that Edomite feminist. And this is a big blow to these hoes. Here. All right, so pretty much that was it. This opens the way, and that's what that means. It opens the way for them to be able to, not let anyone have any right over their body. Bam. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been, And with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Until the next time I say shalom.